what are you guys' top 5 favorite Pokemon? Ooh, I like the background.
Oh, that's pretty easy. Ooh, I could do stuff with my background.
Yeah.
Oh crap! How do I do that?
I'm just trying to get the shitty, house is a goddamn mess background out of here.
Yeah,
I made peace with mine. I'm just living in a storage unit.
You've got like video games or something.
Yeah, I was gonna say your background's pretty cool. I won't even lie. I just picked an angle of my room that's like not too bad. I got like some art there that is like a kind of sort of tastefully naked woman,
Well, I was going to say tastefully naked woman. I have the poster for the 1970s porno parody of Alice in Wonderland. So
the porno parody.
Yes, it's like hand drawn, and she's sitting on a mushroom that looks like a dick. So there you go.
I mean, mushrooms are like dicks. I understand that. That makes Alice in Wonderland. It fits.
I'm really hoping an eagle-eyed viewer will be like, is that the porn parody? Welcome to the Good Games Podcast. My name is James.
I'm Justin.
I'm Zach.
And today we have a very, very special guest. We have the Invictus Pro Wrestling social media champion. Please welcome. It is an honor to have Big Game Leroy. Welcome to the podcast, sir.
Yeah, well, thanks for having me. I'm excited to be here. Ready to play, ready to talk some games. Like, this is exciting.
Yeah, man. This is what we do. This is just a podcast where we sit around and talk about games like a bunch of assholes. I don't know. That's the podcast.
Hell yeah. Not enough podcasts like that. Sorry. No, I jest. I love this is the kind of stuff that I listen to anyways. So please go. Let's do this.
So I wanted to open it up, Leroy, with what is your relationship? What is your Pokemon story? Are you like an OG red blue guy, or because like me, I started red blue, went gold silver. I took a long hiatus and then basically just picked back up once the game started coming out on the Switch. So what is your relationship with? Yeah,
that is a long hiatus. Like
very long hiatus. I played a couple of the 3DS ones, but anyway, yeah. What is your Pokemon story?
So, and I try to remember this because I was 4, so my memory of like my first video game is always tough to like say. But I do remember my 4th Christmas, I remember getting a Game Boy Color, and with that Game Boy Color, I got Pokemon Yellow. So I always try to figure out if Super Mario 64 was my first video game or Pokemon Yellow. For the sake of Pokemon, let's just argue that like Pokemon Yellow was my first video game.
Clearly. That's the story we're sticking with. All right.
So I did start with the red and blue generation, obviously, but I got the best game of that, Pokemon Yellow, which was so great to me because I had a partner who I could talk to and followed me around. I remember Pikachu being the biggest jerk, just like the anime, where I would look at him, he'd have a grumpy face at me. I wouldn't do anything to him. I would win battles. I would catch other Pokemon. Dude would still be annoyed and pissed off at me. And yeah, like that was like my first few memories. I remember like just really being so frustrated, not at the game or the difficulty, I couldn't get Pikachu to like me. I was like, what's wrong with him? Like, why is he like me?
It's a great life lesson. Sometimes you're gonna have to work with people who are just assholes.
Yeah, like I'm like, we're winning all these badges, dude. We're doing good. What are you upset about? Like, my relationship. So from then on, I never stopped. I think I got Pokemon Silver after that on the Game Boy Color. I think that I didn't remember beating those games until I was a little bit older, but Pokemon Sapphire was the first Pokemon game that I really jumped into, where like I dived into it. I dived a little bit into like quote unquote the meta, where I was like getting strategy guides and trying to figure out how to like, breed Pokemon and do this and that. And I was like, getting the link cables to battle and trade with my friends. I was like, oh, I can only evolve this Pokemon if I trade it. That's when I was really aware of that stuff and really getting into it. And then of course I got Pokemon Emerald, which ended up becoming like, I think the Pokemon game that I played like the most, or like I've like, like I've tried to do Nuzlocke on it when I got older, and like I replayed it so many times, and I can never get tired of that game. I have a lot of nostalgia for Hoenn, the trumpets and the giant sea aside, I have so much nostalgia for that. Kanto. They've done it a million times, so my nostalgia for Kanto is very weird. Like I'm like, come on, I can't miss it because it never goes away.
That's true.
I am so happy we have you on because you definitely sound like you are neck deep in the world of Pokemon.
He's the Pokemon professional here.
Yeah.
a little bit.
You are the Pokemon professor.
Yeah, you are
Leroy.
the professor.
Yes.
I did fall off a little bit though. Like you said, so the perfect time you said was the 3DS. It was literally that time period that I fell off because I always argue with my friends. We talk about this a lot. Like Black and White was like the peak of Pokemon in terms of all the steps forward, really taking the series to new levels and trying new things. And then after that, they were like, okay, we're done with that. There's a new generation of players, new kids are into this, and they don't really care about all that stuff. They're just happy to play Pokemon, so we don't really need all these fancy bells and whistles to it. So screw all that. We're gonna recycle the same sprites and the same Pokemon models, and Nintendo took a very low budget, commercialized once a year release type of thing with Pokemon. It was just like, oh, y'all just ain't gonna try for these games anymore. And they're still fun. Like they're not like devoid of any soul, but like I think from X and Y onward, it just kind of lost a lot. I was really, really disappointed with the Sun and Moon games. They were different, but not necessarily in like a great way. And they were just the tutorials were crazy. Sword and Shield, I've put a lot of time into Sword and Shield, but the fact that I have to buy the DLC to feel like this is a complete Pokemon game, it bothers me as a consumer. Like it's like the DLC it completes the game. It doesn't add to the game. Like I just feel like, oh man, like you unlocked a whole other portion of the map that kind of should have just been there. Now I get to walk around with my Pokemon following me around everywhere. Now I get this full 3D view of everything. It feels a little bit like a cop-out,
Yeah. And that's a perfect segue, at least for me, because I started Red Blue, took a long hiatus, played a bit of the 3DS ones. I think I jumped back on board with like the Sapphire Ruby remakes. I played those on 3DS, and then played Sword Shield. Actually, I played XY a little bit, and then I played Sword Shield, and then obviously this. And this was announced, I want to say early-ish last year, maybe.
I think like about a year ago.
Yeah. And I think my biggest complaint, if you go back and listen to this podcast, our Sword Shield review, my biggest gripe with that game was like, hey man, the wild area in Sword Shield seems so cool. Like we're taking these like incremental half steps to like, ooh, what if we rethink the Pokemon formula? And finally, we have basically rethought the Pokemon formula. This is this Pokemon Legends Arceus is this big, open world game. There are no more, random encounters. You see all of the Pokemon in the overworld. There are a lot of changes to the battle system. There are a lot of like quality of life stuff. Just a big like questioning of everything that is Pokemon. Like, does this really need to be how we define Pokemon games? Mm-hmm. And then that's what this game is. And when I want to turn this over to you guys now, but when previews of this game came out, it looked rough. This game visually, that was my first impression was, oof, this game does not visually look great. What did you guys think when you saw previews of this game?
Well, all right. So first of all, long-time Pokemon trainer, first-time Elite Four person. My background with Pokemon is similar to James. I obviously got in on the ground floor with Red and Blue in that era. But I actually kind of got more sucked into the side bullshit of Pokemon. Like I was way into the cartoon, and I think the game that I played the most of the entire Pokemon run is Pokemon Snap. Like for N64, I put in so much time in that.
Classic.
And because of my goblin brain and lack of impulse control, I think I've bought probably at least one pack of Pokemon cards a year.
Okay.
For my entire life. And
so you're
I've
a big
never
trading
played
card
the game
guy.
professionally.
Okay.
Not even play. I don't even play. I just like flip through.
You like collecting though. You love the collecting.
He's really catching them all. He's really catching them all.
I just like hoarding shit that means nothing is what I really like. So I've just sort of been on the outs of Pokemon for the longest time, and then once they started coming back for the Switch and things like that, and playing the sequel, I guess, or remake of Pokemon Snap, it's slowly I've kind of started getting back acclimated into the traditional game. And so seeing the previews for this, I couldn't just shake that it looked like just Breath of the Wild with a Pokemon like skin over it. So I was like, oh, I don't know.
And not in a good way either. Like it
no.
looked very devoid. Like, so me and my friends would joke, like, oh, Breath of the Wild Pokemon, that's perfect. An open world, immersive, random, like, yes, that's what Pokemon should be in the modern 2022. But then it was just like, oh, it's just a locale. Like, that's just it. They're going for that, and they're trying to trick us. And it's not really, it's devoid of what actually makes Breath of the Wild one of the greatest games of all time. Like, it's devoid of all of that. You're just trying to sucker us in and not falling for it.
Right. It definitely just looked like they had borrowed some assets from the original Breath of the Wild build, and they were like, and there's a Bidoof, and it's in there. That's pretty neat, right? That's what kids want.
Freaking Bidoof, man. I've never escaped the freaking Bidoof.
Pokemon Bidoof of the Wild.
And that's kind of...
honestly.
Well, wait a minute. What did you, Justin? What did you think?
Oh, yes,
what was your prejudgment of the preview?
Okay, so same thing. Was like super Breath of the Wild vibes. Even like when I saw like kind of the grassy textures and I saw like the mountainscapes and how I was like, why do these textures look kind of the same but not as good? But I was like, okay, but I was open-minded to the fact that like, all right, they're making an open world Pokemon game. They're finally like doing this. I'm like, all right, I'll give this a chance. This is definitely something I can get into because I like open world. My thing is just open world games. I like to be able to choose what to do and where to go and progress however I want to progress. So rather than, where a lot of Pokemons, you're just kind of going down a linear path to each town and getting, each badge and then advancing. Where this was more of like just you can actually go out there and feel like you're an actual, Pokemon trainer, but I guess at this point where this is, Pokemon Arceus Origins. So,
I think that's a great way to sort of jump into how do we sum up this new game. I kind of look at it as in narrative, it's like Pokemon Year One. We've gone all the way back.
Yeah, like a prequel. Yeah,
like to olden times, and Pokemon have just kind of come onto the scene, and human beings don't even know how to deal with them. They don't know how to catch them. They're just like, it's a clash between people and animals. And then for some reason, we pull a thing from a kid in King Arthur's court, and you just fall out of the future from the sky, and you have an iPhone, and you're like, Pokemon, I catch that shit all day. I was the thing with my phone, and there was a thing, and I'd have to walk outside for a minute. And like, I know this shit.
Yeah.
And so you become king of the universe because you know your shit. And God is a Pokemon. And that's pretty much the game. And it's pretty fucking cool.
No, it's sick. And I think there's something to be said. Like, so Pokemon is like one of the highest selling like IPs, period. Not gaming. Like, not period. Period.
It's crazy. Yeah, and not even gaming, just media. Like Pokemon, crazy. Yeah.
So I think it's kind of nuts because when I first saw the game, like when I literally the first 5 minutes in, I was like, oh, this is the take they're taking. I'm not just some guy growing up in like what's supposed to be feudal Japan. I'm like from the future. I know everything about.
You're the
Pokemon.
chosen one. Yes,
I'm the chosen one or whatever, and I'm just literally dropped into this world now with the knowledge of what Pokemon and Pokemon adventures should be. And I think there's something very meta about that I kind of appreciate because it's like, oh, that is us, the player. Like, we've played all these Pokemon games our whole lives, like you're crazy if you haven't played a Pokemon game at this point. You're crazy if you don't know what Pokemon is, or if you've never watched the anime, or never experienced any type of Pokemon media in your life. And it subverts that because it's like, okay, cool, you're in for a ride though. There's no Elite Four to beat. There ain't no gym badges to get. it's different. Like you catching them all, and you're this Pokédex that you're used to. You're making that. You're putting the work in. You're making it yourself. Oh, you thought you could catch one Pokemon and that'd be your Pokédex entry? No, you got to catch it like 7 times, battle it like 10 times if you want that thing to be complete.
Yeah, you got to sneak up behind it at one point. You got to fuck its wife at one point. Like you got to really go full gamut of everything.
Take it out on a date.
Pokemon.
Yeah, you got to cosplay as it. Like the fairies are gonna love this game.
I love that rethinking of the Pokedex. It's not just like, have you caught it or not? It's like, have you caught it? Okay, did you see it use this move? Okay, did you give it food? Did you peg it in the head with a nut? Did you, I don't know, did you see a slightly bigger one than normal? Yeah, I love the, like, it's not just did you catch it or not. I really like that.
And to that point, this is, and I mean it's by design. It's not like, oh, I really figured it out now. I have never checked a Pokedex more in my life.
Yeah,
in this game, because like in the traditional handheld versions of Pokemon, it would be like kind of a novelty to check every once in a while.
Yeah,
of like
read a
I almost never looked at the original Pokedex.
Like that will we.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I wanted to follow up with.
So it's an interesting way to tie it together.
Yeah, I think we lost you for a second.
Did we lose Zach or me?
Something started updating on my computer and I shit myself, so I don't know.
All of a sudden, Zach pops out. Windows update. This will take 2 hours.
No, I wanted to say from the previews that we saw for this game, I think they were kind of accurate. Like this game visually does not look good. It's got a lot
still
of
rough.
Yeah,
it's still rough.
It's got a lot of technical problems. There's like frame rate issues. There's very obvious like low textures pop in. There's just like
the water's very
like the first time I saw it was when it was like you see your character for the first time.
Yeah,
and it kind of flashes him in the space-time void, and I looked at his face, and his face shadowing was like different from like the rest of his body, like his neck, and I was like, "Ooh, that's how we're starting." Okay,
yeah.
And his face had like a flat, like white kind of pigment to it, like there was no shadow, there was no. It was just like it was flat, but then his neck has like shadow and texture, and I'm like, what's going? Why is this so?
Yeah.
And he turns, and you can see a line on his face. And I'm like, oh, okay.
It's so like it bothers me so much because I'm a Nintendo shrill, and like I'm very aware that Nintendo systems don't have the hardware to make these beautiful, beautiful games. But then the Switch has been this pleasant surprise where it's like, okay, you don't have the horsepower to really compete with even a PS4 or Xbox One, but at least you can have some really creative, artistically beautiful games. Like Breath of the Wild isn't like super crazy with the graphical fidelity, but it's got a nice art style. It knows how to maximize the power of the Switch. And I'm like, come on, like it's the same console. And like we got this Pokemon Arceus, like Breath of the Wild was a launch title. It was
2017. This is 5 years later, and this game looks very obviously much worse than Breath of the Wild.
Especially they're trying to emulate it.
And they got Boohoo Bucks over there at Game Freak.
That's the other thing. I'm so glad Leroy brought up. It brought up Pokemon is huge. They're drowning in money. This is a huge media franchise. It's not like we're pinching pennies over here. They've got the money to spend on this to figure out how to make, like, I get that the Switch is not, a super powerhouse, PC or whatever. It's not it, but like it looks bad. It looks bad even for a Switch game. Like it looks bad, period. Yeah. But I mean, I think that was pretty accurate from the previews carried over to the. I mean, what we saw in the preview is kind of what we got in the game. I was judging the previews and I was like, oh boy, this game looks bad. I think this game is gonna be bad. This game, I think this might be my favorite Pokemon game. This is like
wow.
That's tough.
And just like Breath of the Wild, I love just the initiative to question everything about an already like firmly established formula. Like, do we need random encounters? No. All right, get them out of here. Like, do we need the like gym badges, like battling gym train? No, get them out of
Becoming
here.
the champion motif, whatever. Yeah.
Nope, get them out of here. Like, I love just questioning everything about the formula. I love. I don't think. I don't think the environments themselves, obviously they don't look pretty. I don't think they're that interesting. Like, there's not a lot of interesting things to do in the environments.
Yeah, there's nothing really to explore for besides looking for Pokemon.
But it gets away with it because
Yeah.
like you can just put crazy Pokemon in some corner over here in the map, and then like that gives you a reason to go to that corner because it's like, oh shit, I found a crazy Pokemon over here.
So interesting thing about that, I was talking with Luna about how this game compares to especially like Gen 1. And one thing that I think is really interesting is that, again, kind of getting away with not having like a lot of super like town interesting shit to do. It's basically just like go find more Pokemon. But like for a game that's built around these pocket monsters, this is the first one that feels like they are the focal point of the game. Because especially in the early gen, it was like, oh, they're just a weapon. You just pick up the weapons.
Yes,
and
you're using them. Yeah,
you gotta go conquer these gyms.
Yeah,
you gotta go stop Team Rocket. You gotta go beat the Elite Four and like show how big your balls are. Like this was all
as a 10-year-old.
They were just sort of a thing, right? You show your 10-year-old balls. You had to like there was all things that that like the Pokemon were just sort of there to help you reach your destination versus this where it's like, no, they are the destination. Go like, hey, this giant bug with a mustache is fucking up our shit. We need you to go get rid of him. Okay, cool. Like, oh, hey, we need you to go catch 15 of these Pokemon because we need to figure them out. Okay, great. Like, that's really super interesting to me. So I agree. You can get away with not having interesting towns or interesting like areas when you have the focus and you put purpose behind. No, it's about the Pokemon. Go get the goddamn Pokemon.
Yeah. And I even like, and to even go off your point, like you're talking about like how the focus on the Pokemon, I also felt like the most like in tune as a trainer like ever. Like, to be honest, because like I can get murked by these Pokemon. Like they could kill me.
Oh, yeah,
like
true.
Like and then like even the battle perspective, which is probably my favorite change that I didn't know I wanted or needed. Like I've said for years, an open world Pokemon game, give it Breath of the Wild type of like strip everything down, make it all brand new, give it a soft reboot. But like, I didn't even know like I wanted like a new battle system where it's so frenetic and fast. There's no load into like a encounter where it's still turn-based, obviously. But like there's an agile style, there's a strong style. These battles are so fast. Like you get one-shotted or you one-shot. Like honestly, it's so easy. And like, and I love that too, because this is also the most difficult Pokemon game I've probably ever played.
Yes.
Like I'm dying a lot, like easily. My teams are getting murked in one-shots because I got a little ambitious, and this one Pokemon that happened to be this like a level below me just got one strong style move on me. And I'm just like, shit, this is wild.
Yeah, a lot of, and that's something as like somebody who took a big hiatus from these games, picking them back up on like the Switch, like I played like Let's Go Pikachu Eevee, I played like Sword Shield. I'm like, man, I could beat these games like you just like press, you mash a button and just press, like it doesn't matter. Like these games are so easy. Like this is not like you got to be careful in this game. You have to, really think about. The type matchups, the agile strong style, which I love. I love that there is now, I love that we question everything about Pokemon. I love that there is now a reason when your Pokemon learns a new move and it's like, oh, this move is more powerful than your previous move. But now with this agile strong thing, it's like, yeah, but your Pokemon hasn't mastered the new move yet, so you can't use it in agile strong style. Also, the power points or whatever is a lot lower. So if you want to do the agile strong thing, eventually you're not going to have a lot of power points to play. I like that you're actually making decisions instead of just like, strong move better,
Hyper beam or quick attack. Duh. Like.
Yeah, and you make those same decisions in battle too. It's not just like, oh, well, I'm going to use the fire type move against the leaf Pokemon. It's like, oh, well, hang on, I could squeeze in an agile move here. I love, by the way, in concept, there's a turn tracker that you can open, and you
it'll
can
tell you. Yeah.
Yes, I love that in concept. There's something funky about it in implementation, because I've had a lot of instances where like the turns don't exactly follow. Like
the later turns, it gets kind of inconsistent.
It'll be like, okay, I have a turn, then he has a turn, then I'll have 2 turns. I'm like, okay, cool, and I'll have a turn, and then he'll take like 2 turns in a row, and I'm like, what? You lied to me, game.
So it always happens with those alpha Pokemon too, and I'm just kind of like, okay, is that like boss battle cheat where like they just get to like 3 turns in a row or something?
I like it in concept. In implementation, there's something weird going on. I think you're right. I think maybe it's the alpha, or like when you're fighting against a trainer, things get a little weird. But I like it in concept, at least.
One of my favorite things was the whole concept of when you first get there, and they're all like, "You're going out there, like, just don't die, okay? You're gonna die." Like that, like people are going like, "Oh, those are fucking monsters, man! Like,
those are wild animals,
they will kill you." Like, we have a hospital for people, not Pokemon people.
Like it does a great job of really implementing like
it makes you actually like
it does. It's the best. It's the closest thing to making Pokemon feel real in terms of how would a world exist with Pokemon? Well, they're not all going to be house cats. It's going to be like, oh, hey, by the way, there's a goddamn puma that lives in this fucking neighborhood, and so watch out. If it gets you in your sight, you can't fast travel. So
there's a fire horse that if it gets pissed, it'll burn you alive. That is not hyperbole.
So be careful.
Burn you alive.
Yeah.
They mentioned that so much in the beginning too. It was crazy.
Yeah, Jesus. Yeah, no, they're like this crazy asshole fell from the sky, and the only reason why we're not burning him at the stake is because he knows how Pokeballs work, and he caught like 4 Pokemon on the way home.
He caught 4 Pokemon. Like he's the best thing we got against these dudes, so we got to rock with him.
Yeah, there was literally like a thing of dialogue where it was like, normally we'd question somebody who fell out of the sky, but you caught this Pokemon, so we're gonna let it slide for now. I'm like, what else can you do? I also like the swappable extra moves too. I really thought
where it's just like, here's your list of moves, and it's just like pick the ones you want. Yeah,
and you just like
it's so good,
and it's such it's another thing I never thought of. Like,
right,
I was just like, wow, like that is such an awesome like quality of life. Like, because before, you would learn a move, forget it, and you could relearn the move or whatever, and in the end game, play around with your Pokemons and do whatever you want. But it was still kind of tedious. It was still work to kind of do it all. It took time. Now it's like, oh, this is so easy. Why wasn't this always a thing?
Well, along those same lines, the automatic experience all just already implemented in the game, and we don't explain it. Just all your Pokemon grow that are on your team. I'm like, this is the greatest goddamn thing that's ever happened. Like every time, like as soon as we started
catching Pokemon too.
Like as soon as we started implementing that as like hey, we're not gonna fuck around and make you go like find this halfway through the game and then put it out like, ugh, this is awful. And now that it's just like, there's no reason to not do that anymore. The number one thing I took away from getting into this game was, this is truly, what if Pokemon as an actual game, I'm not talking about in universe, I'm talking about in a game as a series. What if Pokemon never existed and you had to launch this game as a title in 2022? What is the meta of 2022 gaming that you would have to play into in order to sell this game now? And I think it's a great jumping on point for people who have never played Pokemon before, and for old fucks like, I would say 3/4 of this podcast. Leroy is young and vibrant, where the rest of us are old. But for us retirement home folks who are going back to the olden days, this has a lot of elements that kind of help bring us along. Like every cutscene in the game, it's like, oh, blah 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 blah. Here's this mechanic. Unless you already know this shit, and you could just be like, yeah, no, I don't know how to catch Pokemon. And they're like, all right, well then it's all you.
Like, like you're lit.
Yeah, like, oh, I forgot you're Jesus, of course. Yeah.
You fell out of the sky. You could walk on water. You're good. Can you turn this? Turn this into wine? By the way, thanks.
Yeah, apologies for suggesting a tutorial to our Lord and Savior. No, please go kick this bug's ass.
Yeah, but one thing I felt like this tutorial dragged a bit. That was one of my biggest complaints.
I do think the first part does. Yeah, it's long.
And I kind of got that from some of the pretty much the last Pokemon games going past, like a lot of the Game Boy ones was, a lot of hand holding happens in the beginning, and it just kind of drags, and you're just like, look, okay, it's not like everyone going into this knows how to play Pokemon, but just let me, like, red and blue and yellow kind of just go like, here's your Pokemon now, and here's some stuff. Now go out there and do it. Like, there's really no tutorial. You just kind of start going town to town, and you start figuring it out as you go.
Mhm.
Where like this one's just kind of like, okay, next is this, and okay, next is this, for like almost like I feel like I played it for 3 hours, the tutorial. It's like, come on, let's go.
Yeah,
I just want to get out there.
Yeah, I think it's like once you get past the first like the cleaver, the big like noble or whatever, then it's kind of just now it's like, okay, now you know the routine now, kind of the deal. You're still completing the Pokédex and you're calming down these alpha Pokemon or whatever. And I'm like, okay, that's fine. It's cool to have like a whatever. I kind of wish they went the Breath of the Wild routine,
Just
IGN had this, IGN had this great fucking video that they like to share like a million times this month for some reason, talking about the Great Plateau and how it's gaming's greatest tutorial ever, because it's not a tutorial. It's literally like, we dump you in this plateau, you go in the order of this, you grab these items and stuff, and you figure it out through there. The tutorial is you collecting these items, and it teaches you the mechanics of these games, the physics, weather, equipment, all that stuff. It teaches you just by having you play the game. And I wish it took that, because it was like, okay, here's some Pokeballs. Hey, maybe just let me figure out that if I sneak up on a Pokemon, it's easier to catch them and I don't have to battle them. Imagine how cool that would have been, me thinking, okay, I got to throw my Cyndaquil at them, because that's what I've always been trained to do since I was 4 years old. No, wait, I can catch a Pokemon just by sneaking up on it, like Metal Gear Solid? Oh, shit, dope. Fuck yeah. I'll do that. That's way easier.
Yeah,
true.
Yeah, love it. So the last thing I wanted to talk about was where do you guys think Pokemon goes from here? Because I can't possibly imagine the next game being like, all right, we're going back to random encounters. Random
Can
encounters.
we make bets here? Can we make like a bet on like,
Uh-huh.
are they going to make DLC for this game?
Sure.
Ooh,
good question.
I think the money. I think me and my friends talk about like how much they're gonna charge us to battle each other, because I don't think the battling is not a thing, and we're just like, yeah, they're gonna like there's trainer battling, like it exists in the game, like you battle trainers and in a closed set thing. So it only makes sense that they would implement that, because there's just money to add there. Like they have some online capabilities where I think you could pick up people's satchels of where they died or whatever. And I think that's kind of cool. Yeah, I think it's cool, but I'm like, just put online battling. I know trading's, they put it in like a very like weird way. Trading is in there, but it's like, just put some battling. Like, take the battle system from Sword and Shield. Like, just put it in here. I'll pay $10 for it. I know you're gonna charge me for it. I'll pay $10-15 for it. Whatever. I know, Nintendo, get your fucking money. But like, I do think like a trading thing. Maybe they could open up like more of the map and maybe do a little bit more at that, or just throw in more Pokemon. Like literally the DLC could just be like, hey, a rift open again, and now we got some more Pokemon here from Hoenn, from wherever, and check out these areas that you already saw and beat the whole game, but now there's some new Pokemon in there, and now you have to really fill out this Pokédex,
Yeah. I hope this gets DLC.
Yeah, I was gonna say I would be fine with more. Although Leroy brought up a point. One thing that Luna and I both miss from the previous couple of Switch versions is like the random trading, where like
where
you just kind of like
bag,
reach out into the ether and
Yeah.
probably gets like a Pidgeot or a Pidgeot or something like that. But then every once in a while, communism works and like you get something cool.
Yeah,
and you gave away
get the
something
random
cool.
Mew or something.
Yeah, or so, and I always loved the personally, I always loved the element of like they would be named whatever the other person named them, and I would never change that shit. I just like that, like a random name that just doesn't fit with any of the naming conventions for my Pokemon.
Yeah.
It was just in my crew. Like I'd be like, yeah, so this one's called Fart, and this one's called Butt, and this one's called Penis, and then this one is a Ditto that I traded, and it's named Yamaguchi-san, and then this one is named Fart 2. So that's pretty cool. Like I missed that element.
My Charizard named Alexander for some reason. Just Alexander, and I'm just like, okay,
yeah, Alexander. My first
He's the shit.
because we mentioned in this game, like the only limited online functionality there is like if you die, you drop a satchel and you lose all your items. But if somebody else in
Dark
their
Soul
game,
shit.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
Dark Souls esque.
Pseudo
Yeah.
Dark
cool.
Souls.
Yeah,
they can
definitely.
find your satchel and bring it back to you. My first satchel that I found was Butt Ass's satchel. So shout out to Butt Ass.
Legendary butt ass.
Butt ass. Wow,
Yeah,
nice.
shout out to Butt Ass if you're listening. Yeah,
You found Butt Ass's satchel.
yeah.
Way to go.
Yeah. You sent Butt Ass's satchel, or you sent the satchel back to Butt Ass, and I was like, all right, good. I hope I made him happy.
Exactly.
So
the
yeah,
other
but
thing
I
that
mean,
I wanted to mention.
I meant more
Well,
from
I
like
was gonna say real quick.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
I would say the other thing I wanted to mention was I did also feel like we kind of yanked some quality of life stuff, but just some kind of techniques from some of the other games, because like I feel like the catching mechanic feels very Pokemon Go,
Absolutely.
very kind of let's go Pikachu, let's go Eevee,
Yeah.
but not so much so like you don't really necessarily have to hit like the sweet spot like in Pokemon Go. It's just
not
sort of a
motion
general,
controls. It's not a gimmick.
Right.
It's
and
it
then
feels
the,
good. It feels solid. Yeah. Even the new balls,
like the big rips that come down. Yeah,
the heavy balls,
that
the
felt
feather
like
balls.
the last gen. Yes.
Yeah, they threw in some
heavy
Ocarina of Time
balls.
Z targeting.
Yeah.
Right. But even I thought like the throwing shit at Pokemon to stun them or like get them into it felt very like new Pokemon Snap. Like there's just a little there. It feels like there's a lot of things that we kind of drew from to build this thing up because we knew they worked in other games. So it was like, okay, so we know that works. We can bring that mechanic over here. So it's a little Frankenstein-y, but I like it. I feel like it's a lot of great choices. And final side note, every female in this game is a badass bitch that I want to carry me to bed. So there's just that. I just put that out there officially as my
have
statement.
to carry you to bed. Yep. All of them.
They're all Amazon women that I want to carry me to bed. So that's
I think
You want snoo from them.
You know, for Nintendo having this thing with all these like, you know, teenage girls, they have these really strong teenage women like as gym leaders, as and not just in this game, like all Pokemon games. Like they're just like, why are they like badass like women? Like they're amazing. Like I love it. It's great.
They're all badass bitches. And I'm like, all right, cool.
Today I learned that Zach wants to be carried to bed by Misty. That's what I'm taking away from this.
Well, but like Misty, but like jacked up Misty.
Right. Yeah.
Learn your super moves from. She like towers over you. I'm like, yeah, crush my head with your thighs. Fuck yeah, let's do it.
Yeah, beat me in a Pokemon battle, then crush my head with your thighs.
Yeah, exactly.
You got to demoralize me in both ways before we, for the fetish to really take effect.
That's true. That Leroy knows his stuff.
But no, I meant more from like a sequel perspective. Like,
yes.
I can't imagine the next game is going to be like, all right, you got to battle all the gym leaders, and it's going to be traditional random battles, turn based. Like, we can't go back to that, right?
Right.
The future.
I hope not.
This has to be the future, right? I'm hoping that this is like the proof of concept. This is the blueprint that we take going forward. Hey, but just make it look better.
Let's put a little elbow grease into the graphics.
But just make the environment more interesting and more pretty. Like that's it. Perfect. And then perfect.
Yeah.
And it doesn't even have to be feudal Japan. Like it's a great gimmick and all that stuff. But it could be current. Like this could still it doesn't have to be a prequel game to have all of these elements. Like obviously maybe in a sequel we don't have to complete the Pokédex, but the catching mechanics can still be the same. It could still be the complete openness of everything. It could still be a new area. Obviously you're always completing a new Pokédex. So imagine it's a completely new region, a new Pokemon. So, you're even more incentivized to catch them all because the same thing. You're still trying to complete a Pokédex. And I don't know. I'm like nervous because like I feel like Nintendo's they sell so much on these games regardless. Like people buy them like it's freaking McDonald's. Like whether it's good or not, they're just like, oh, it's Pokemon. Eat your slop. Like just eat your slop.
Get your Pokemon every year. Get your new Pokemon.
And it's like Sword and Shield. A lot of people are really divided on that game in terms of quality, and like people feel like it's a slap in the face of a lot of longtime fans. But that is one of the highest selling Switch. Like it's the fastest selling Switch game of all time.
I know.
And it's like they're just like, oh, you don't like that game? as they're counting all their money.
Yeah.
You don't like that game, really? That's interesting.
You sure about that? You sure about that?
All the money in my pocket says otherwise.
Hey, the money in my pocket says this is your favorite game of all time, and I should give you another one.
Well, the craziest thing about Sword and Shield, I remember like all the fans were like, "Oh, we the huge like Dexit controversy was like, only half the Pokedex was in here, but it was like, oh, they're recycling animations, recycling models." And I was like, I don't need 600 Pokemon, but if you're going to like have a game with a limited Pokedex, make it like make sense to where like this game does, like, oh, of course they're not going to have 900 Pokemon because that's way too many animations to have like around in the wild, because I'm assuming they all have to have their own run animations and idle animations and behaviors and whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Like
no, you have 900 Pokemon.
How big's the game?
But
2
there
terabytes?
Yeah.
But there's no areas to explore. It's just a blank white room, like a training level, and all the Pokemon sprites are just there in a giant sea.
You're just throwing Pokeballs.
And just all moving together, and you just start whipping ball, and then you're like, "That's the game. That's the whole game."
This is great. 10 out of 10.
Like
Game of the year.
It's 2 terabytes. Fuck you. Yep.
Damn, my SD card. Damn, my SD card. Not enough, huh? 256 gigabytes. Nope.
Oh, you can buy the special limited edition Nintendo brand external hard drive that just plugs right into the Switch, and you can play the new Pokemon.
Dude, it's just aggressive. It just sticks out at the end like a giant USB.
It's got a little Pikachu tail on it because
Yeah, special edition.
That's how you know it's legit.
There you go. And it does little animations when it turns on.
But yeah, I don't know.
I felt the same way with Breath of the Wild though too. It's like I understand with Zelda. I mean, they've tried so many things that they, obviously they could still go back down to the top-down gameplay, which they have with Link's Awakening remake, and they
Between Worlds,
Link Between Worlds, yeah. So, but like with Breath of the Wild, it's like when you think, okay, where are they gonna go with open world 3D Zelda? It's like, I don't know, like like that was pretty peak. Like Zelda, it's like unless you just take the same concept and throw him somewhere else, like start exploring the actual world itself. I don't know, do something, or expand to new areas or new things. I don't know.
Which is what Breath of the Wild 2 looks like it's gonna be. Like they're just throwing some new gimmicks in there. You're like, for some reason you're exploring like the air a little bit more. Like it looks like there's some like temples above ground, which they kind of already had. Like they had a whole civilization in the air already. Yeah. Like so, but like I understand. I'm like, okay, cool. We're gonna explore more of this world, which is cool because all these years later, I still see some people saying like, "Oh, really cool animation weather thing that I didn't know was in Zelda that I just discovered last week. That's cool as heck." And I'm like, oh, that's awesome. That's how you know this is a massive, really fleshed out game.
So yeah, I say to take your time, emphasize what you just did. Do that.
Yeah.
Well, I was going to say, to Leroy's point, I didn't really even consider a sequel to this just being in the modern times. I'm the kind of asshole that's like, oh, clearly we're going to have like a different era of this until we get to modern times. Like the next sequel will be like Victorian era Pokemon, and like
Pokemon.
You're trying to figure out
Industrial Revolution.
You're trying to exactly. Like
oh my gosh, Red Dead Redemption Pokemon.
This Snorlax keeps fucking up the printing press, and so we need you to kick his ass for us.
Imagining
falling asleep on the damn.
It's just sleeping on the printing press. Wow. Okay.
Just imagining World War II with Pokemon. That's
oh no.
Exactly.
Oh
That's
my
what
god.
I'm saying.
That'd be amazing. I would play that.
Yeah, there's too many. No, oh my gosh.
Like to see them actually using Pokemon for like war. That would be cool.
That just the morality. They're just like, we started off as partners. We started off as best friends, and now you're just a weapon to me.
Oh god.
That would be so cool to have like okay, it starts off and then it goes to like this really dark period where they start actually using them, and then they went, maybe we shouldn't be assholes that much.
Right.
Yeah, I was thinking we were gonna have Pokemon. Like Pokemon Band of Brothers, but Leroy's bringing up like, you're just a number to me, Pikachu. Now Thundershot, goddamn you.
Pikachu, I said Bolt Tackle, and Pikachu's just like, those are civilians, man. Those are civilians. They didn't do anything. Who are you? You're not the same 10-year-old who caught me.
I was just about to say, like, Pika-Pee? I don't care if there's women and children. God damn it.
This is war. As tears stream down your eyes, you're like, this is war. They took my family.
You think Team Rocket would hesitate? No, God damn it. Yeah.
I really want this game now.
So
Nintendo, there's your idea.
On shelves next Christmas.
Yeah.
There you go. That'll be on shelves next Christmas. That's nice.
Yeah, I'll buy it. I'll pre-order that. Pre-order that bad boy.
Yeah, I was gonna say, disgusted or not, Leroy's still a shill, so he'll be like,
yeah,
oh,
exactly.
I guess I play that mid match.
I'm like, damn, I already got it pre-ordered. Like, I got that shit like Amazon already.
All right.
So I've got a weird question because, like I said at the beginning, I have the goblin brain and I want collectibles and shit. There was not like I didn't miss out. Was there like a super fancy deluxe edition? Was there any bells and whistles bullshit that I missed for this, or was it just a release?
I don't think so.
So I think there was. So this was so weird. I had the weirdest like pre-order situation with this. So I pre-ordered this game late because whatever. Also because information about this game was so weird, and I didn't see a pre-order bonus. But then I see on GameStop they're like, oh, you get this art card set, and I think like 3 art cards or whatever. I didn't see any pictures of it or whatever, but it said that. So I pre-ordered the game last week, like I think Monday or Tuesday. And I remember saying like, hey, I'm good to pre-order this and like I'll get the bonus and stuff. And they're like, yeah, just make sure you get in early because, like pandemic and stuff, like we might not have enough pre-orders and it looks like the demand is really going to outsource the actual pre-order bonuses. So just make sure you get yours. And I'm like, okay, that's weird. I've never heard that before. And like, there are games that like we're going to sell that I've never heard that before. And I'm like, okay, whatever. I'll make sure I get to GameStop that Friday. Decent time. I get there and they're like, so actually we didn't get our shipment of the pre-order bonus, but we got the game. So here you go. And I'm like, so what do I like, I mean, I didn't pre-order it for the art cards, but I'm like, what? So what now? They're like, well, I mean, you could come back Monday maybe. And I think we'll have the shipment then. And I'm like, that defeats the purpose of the pre-order. Like I got to come back with the receipt on Monday to get these cards. I'm like, well, no. And so I haven't, no, I didn't go get the cards. I don't even know if these cards exist. I haven't seen anybody post any pictures of them. I don't even know if they're worth getting. So I'm just like, I don't care. But
it's very strange.
It's very like Pokemon too. Like it's like usually they have like some really cool pre-order bonuses, like a shiny Pokemon download or something, or like a really cool little statue or plushie or something.
Yeah, I post about
it.
I
don't know. Here's some old Magic the Gathering cards we found. Fuck you.
They're gonna sell me some fake Pokemon cards, and I'm just gonna have a whole.
Yeah, there you go. Let's say the bootlegs.
Yeah, a whole situation where I'm just like, yeah, this is my super authentic rare Pokemon Arceus Legends card, and then I open it up, and it's like, wait, this is just a crudely drawn Pikachu on a Post-it.
It's a crudely drawn Pikachu saying, "I don't care if they're women and children." I don't know.
All right, you guys have any final thoughts on Pokemon Legends Arceus? Arceus? I don't know how to say that word.
Pokemon Jesus Legends.
There you go. Pokemon Jesus Legends.
I guess my thoughts are just like, I really hope they stick with this formula. I really do.
Me too.
I think that I really want this game to sell, and I'm not usually like someone who's big like that, but I just think when Pokemon is such a massive media form, like it's not even video game property, it's a media property, and it's like that's the only way you can really affect the way they think about the series, because their mindset right now, and it's not wrong, and I don't even judge them for it, they're gonna buy no matter what, whether our games are good, whether they're bad, they're gonna buy. So to them, they're just like, we can do whatever we want with this IP, and kids are gonna buy it, adults are gonna buy it, the adults are gonna talk shit about it, but they're still gonna buy it. So it's like, and they know that, so I'm just like, but this is something really cool, and I think that like new fans and old fans can really jump into this, and I think that you can start having this really awesome conversation about Pokemon and like these, like I don't think this game is like a game of the year candidate by any measures or anything like that, but I think it's a really solid game to kick off the new year. And I'm really like, hey, imagine if this game had some really good graphics, there was some kind of online component where maybe like we could catch Pokemon together in like a safari zone. Oh, hi.
I just like the general like optimistic sales pitch. Like, oh man, imagine if this game like they really gave a shit. Wouldn't that be
like it's just like because there's just so much potential just in this format. Like I'm having a great time regardless, but like I'm thinking more. Like
that's a perfect way to sum it up. I hope this game sells well because I want Game Freak and the Pokemon Company to be rewarded for experimentation, because this is definitely an experiment with the formula, and I think it's a good one, and I want to see more. So I hope this game sells well. I want to see more of this and less of just remaking the same game over and over again with like minor changes. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think that's boring.
And they could do both. Like if you want to have mainline Pokemon and then have your Arceus spin-off, like this more Monster Hunter-y type of Pokemon, fine, whatever. I mean, I'll buy both probably, but like I'll probably prefer the Arceus spin-off, you know? I'll be like, that's my game for me.
I mean, if you give me two, I'm going to take this one. I don't want the old one anymore.
Right. Well, and to Justin's point, I really hope the other thing is that they really, if they are going to do a sequel and they're going to do more of this same kind of gameplay, I really hope they take their time. I don't want this to become the Pocket Monster Madden where it's like, we did another one a year later. Like, it's okay to take your time. Like, it's all right to really kind of think about this and expand on these ideas and not just be like, we put more Pokemon in. Okay, great. But what else are we doing? What else are we changing and adjusting and thinking about in terms of if you had to build a new Pokemon game now, what can you do with that? And I think that this game pleasantly surprised me. I will say that. And not just based off like, hey, these graphics look like shit, but in terms of like this being a lot more in-depth and a lot more interesting with what you can do with a Pokemon game than anything I was expecting. I was literally expecting it was going to be Let's Go Pikachu in a different fucking, with a different costume change, and that was it. So I was very pleasantly surprised at how interesting and varied this game was.
Yep. You have any final thoughts, Justin?
I mean, you guys pretty much summed it up.
Shit ain't no Breath of the Wild. I know that much.
Where's my Breath of the Wild 2? All right, come on. Let's get to the real game of the year, though.
But yeah, I mean, I feel like this game can keep people occupied long enough to let it just kind of sit, linger. Maybe it goes on a couple sales, so some more people get interested in the concept, and let them just like take 2-3 years and just go like, all right, here's another one, but better,
more ambitious, like a scale.
Maybe
we gave a shit this time.
We'll have like some kind of newer console from Nintendo. You never know.
Yeah. Real quick conspiracy. I'm gonna put on my tinfoil hat.
Go for it, please.
Okay,
all right.
I subscribe to the theory, by the way, that the OLED Switch was supposed to be the Switch Pro, right? Because the OLED Switch came out at the end of, when did the OLED Switch come out? The end of 2019 or the beginning?
It came out last fall.
Okay. So I subscribe to the theory that was supposed to be the Switch Pro, but due to the pandemic screwing up all sorts of, manufacturing, shipping, supply chain issues, Nintendo could not get in the semiconductors, the parts, the processors in bulk supply enough to make the Switch Pro, but they could get the OLED screen, which is part of the spec for the Switch Pro. I think maybe I'm just trying to explain why this game looks bad. I'm wondering if this game started development targeting the hardware for the Switch Pro, which was scrapped, if it was ever real. And then like halfway through development, it was like, no. You guys got to target the base Switch. That's the only thing we're shipping for.
Right.
And that's maybe why it looks so bad. I don't know.
All right, Team Rocket, Alex Jones. I'll buy that.
I kind of like that. I like any Switch Pro discourse because it's just like, I believe it was real. I really do. And I had this, one of my best friends swears it was never real. He was like, it was a rib. He's like, Nintendo they were fucking with us. That's not their model. They don't like doing that. They don't like to try to do upscale. And I'm like, they did it with the 3DS though. Come on. Like that. And I'm like that. And then it would give them an excuse not to have to chase after next gen. Like they could just keep doing, because I think the Switch is honestly their best, most current, most finger on the pulse system since the Wii. And even the Wii wasn't a cool system. Like the Wii wasn't cool. It was successful because your grandma bought it.
Sure, yeah.
And they made your grandma and your mom buy a system. And there's something to be said about that. And I do think it was, it was a part of the zeitgeist in 2007, 2008 for sure. But I think there's something to be said about the Switch being this cool console that is literally like, it's a handheld home console. Like it's such an easy pitch, but it's super cool. And if you just give it a little bit more power, it's like, yeah, let's see 6 more years of Switch. Let's do it. Like I'm in it for the long haul. Not just because I wrestle with it, but
I was just gonna say, I feel like you're a little biased because you're like, yeah, it was better than the Wii because you can't fucking do a body slam while playing Wii. That's bullshit.
Hey, whoa! Let me get a Wii remote and nunchucks. I'll get a Wii remote and nunchucks and fuck someone up like that in a death match.
All right, use it to strangle somebody.
Make a GameCube mace, like the whole weapon arsenal. Let's go.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was say this man has beaten someone nearly to death with a GameCube.
Yeah, it's got a handle on it for a reason. I mean, come on, guys.
One final thought. So I was a little bit surprised by this game's soundtrack. To me, it's a mix of like 3 things. One thing I was expecting, which is like more Pokemon music. Pokemon traditionally has been like the musical identity of Pokemon has been these like really like peppy, like upbeat, like ba 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 ba, like just very like there's some of that. There's some of like very clearly what I think is inspired by Breath of the Wild, where they have these like light
the piano,
the light piano playing.
Gosh.
I was like, oh, hello, Breath of the Wild soundtrack.
Yes.
And then my favorite thing on this soundtrack, I don't know where the hell it came from. There's like these really jazzy, like relaxing. There's a couple of tracks that just play, and it's like these really mellow, jazzy.
Yeah,
smooth.
usually like at night or like dawn. It's so interesting.
I'm like, what is this doing
Why
in a
am I-
Pokemon game? Like, what is happening?
Why am I not surprised that the topmost point for you for like, and this is a 10 out of 10 video game because there's a goddamn yacht rock track on it.
There was some yacht rock, and I'm like, what is yacht rock doing in my Pokemon? What is happening?
They got your letters. They got your letters.
They knew. They were like, we made this for you. We got it in. We got it in. And
Yeah,
like,
it's
so
good. It's good.
the soundtrack is really cool. I'm glad you brought it up because it's supposed to, from what I've like noticed, it's like a remake. So it's based off like the Hisui region is based off Sinnoh, technically, like it's whatever. So Diamond and Pearl. So a lot of them are remakes of the route themes, some of the battle themes and whatnot. And like it's kind of interesting because I'm like, okay, this sounds familiar, but like it's not quite what I remember as a kid. And also Diamond and Pearl was like my least played Pokemon game as a kid. Like I think I beat it and literally just put the game down right after I beat Cynthia. Like that was it. There was nothing else to it. I beat Cynthia and I'm like, cool, bye.
The end. Never touching this bullshit again.
Yeah, like I it's so bad. I genuinely don't remember if I saved. I don't think I saved after I beat Cynthia. I think it was just the experience, and I'm done. I did it. Cool.
Oh, so since you brought up the music, one thing I did want to bring up as part of the we're building this game for 2022, the crafting system and things along those lines. Fairly painless. I thought it was so I don't play a ton of like super duper open world games, so I know crafting is like part of the 10 Commandments. My PTSD with crafting comes from Dead Rising. So when I see like, oh, you can craft tools and weapons and things like that, I have like heart palpitations because then it's like, oh Christ, I'm gonna have to carry all this shit with me, and I gotta find a tool bench, and then there's zombies that are gonna be biting my ass. So the fact that the game was just like, oh no, if you run out of Pokeballs, just like go find some shit and go make some more. I was like, okay, I don't hate that. That's not terrible. Yeah. So for being something that felt very, hey, if we're making an open world game in 2022, you have to have crafting in it. I wasn't like put off by it. It wasn't something where I was like, ugh, this shit. I was like, okay, that's not awful. I'm okay with that. Especially if we've already made the decision of like, oh, we're not going to have traditional like, Pokemon stores and, the hospitals. We're not going to do that shit. And it's like, all right, well, how do we get around that? Like, oh, well, you just make it on your own. I'm like, oh, okay, well, that's fine then. So that was one element that I was like, I was prepared to roll my eyes on, and then I ended up not. I was like, oh Jesus, and then it was like, oh no, this is fine. This is no big deal.
No, yeah, it reminds me of Breath of the Wild because Breath of the Wild's crafting system was pretty simple too, where it's not in your face. It's not too like it's fun because it's like, okay, cool, I have this recipe. I just got to collect these things, and that's it. Right. It's nothing too complicated.
It was like a whole like figure it out yourself kind of thing.
Yeah, and then like there's a method to the madness kind of thing. I think unlike Breath of the Wild, because Breath of the Wild you could fuck up, like you could make a bad dish and it could make you sick. Yeah, or like, you know, in Pokemon, it's like they really just give you the recipe. You're like, okay, if you know, you just can't make it, like you just don't have enough things or you don't have the right materials. And I think, you know, it's just not, it's not invasive. Like it's not too, it doesn't take away from the experience. And I think there's so many simple things that I hope they keep carrying over, because it's like, no, you don't have to like create this intricate, complicated crafting system. Like it's just like, you know, just something simple, you know, to fit that. Like, hey, cool, I don't have to keep running back and forth to towns to buy Pokeballs and potions because I can just make it.
Yeah. All right. So, usually, Leroy, what we do on this podcast is we have a top 5. So, how that works is we usually, you know, pick a topic and it's like, what's your top 5? Whatever. We have on a previous episode already done top 5 Pokemon. So just like previous Pokemon games that keep redoing the same thing over and over again, this podcast is now going to recycle the same premise, and we're going to do another top 5 Pokemon game. But I want to do
Shots fired. Shots fired.
I want to do this just for Zac and Leroy, because if you really care about mine and Justin's favorite Pokemon games, hey, go listen to our Sword and Shield review. That's an earlier episode from last year. Zac and Justin, what are your top 5 favorite Pokemon and why?
What you mean?
I mean,
Well,
Zac
Justin's not answering. Leroy.
Zac and Leroy. Justin, shut up.
Wow, Jesus.
You already gave your answer.
I'm muting.
Dang.
Zac and Leroy, excuse me.
So normally, okay, so normally there's like a great debate and blah 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 blah, but I'm just gonna go down my 5 and then Leroy go down his 5, and then we'll argue over like why his list sucks.
However you want to do it.
So in no particular order, I went with so Mimikyu, because any Pokemon that part of its like lore and character is that it's like depressed and that it's envious and wants to just cosplay. I think it's pretty interesting.
It's a millennial.
So I was like, okay, yeah, exactly. So I was like, oh, I'm into this. Specifically Squirtle, but like Squirtle Squad Squirtle with the fucking sunglasses on and the leather jacket, because he doesn't take shit from anybody. Squirtle Squad Squirtle's the shit. Gengar specifically from Pokken Tournament, because that motherfucker's tongue was out of control in that game, and it's hysterical. Like there's so many times where they're like, "Oh, this is a very intense Pokemon battle," and then you just got this, you know, Jabba the Hutt purple fat fuck behind you that's just like blah, 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 the whole time. Like, yeah, no, I'm here to fuck some shit up. My super big throwback, other than Squirtle Squad Squirtle, is Surfing Pikachu, specifically from Pokemon Snap 64. Because when you figured that shit out and you led him to the surfboard with the little fruit and he hopped on that shit, in the 90s, that was the coolest shit that ever happened. Was like, he like, "Bajow!" And then you'd go, "Oh!" And then you'd take a picture and it sucked ass and you had to do that fucking track 3 more times to get a deal. And then finally, Slowbro King, because we respect these kings around here, and like the drip is just 100% with that Pokemon, and he's the shit. And I think we all went to school with somebody who was kind of a Slowbro King. So, so there you go. So that's my top 5, and I'm the shit. So all right, Leroy, let's see.
Wow, shit, Jesus Christ, Eddie chugs the cold one. Damn, that's crazy. So, my top 5, it's I always try to start off with a really out there one. First off is Scrafty. He's my boy. He looks like a gangster. He's got his pants up there. It's a mix of like, he looks like such a cool, badass Pokemon, but also like literally in the meta of Pokemon, he has this ability called Moxie. So like if he takes down one of your Pokemon, his attack rises up. So I was always like, yo, this dude is gonna be my first Pokemon out. Because if he takes down one of your Pokemon, he's steamrolling your team. Because he's gonna get into his momentum, break, take out your knees, take out your kneecaps, just like the game. Like he's like, you owe him money. It's sick. It's sick. He's like, yo, run those badges.
I do appreciate a Pokemon that. Yeah, I appreciate a Pokemon that's basically just Rocky Balboa. Like it knocks out one Pokemon and be like, it ain't a machine. It's just a fucking little animal. You got this. I respect that.
And not to put too much, Squirtle from the Squirtle Squad, for the exact reason you said. You stole it from me. He was like my favorite character in the anime. Another character that I only say mostly because of the anime, Jigglypuff. Jigglypuff, who was singing and drawing on people's faces. Like, I was so disappointed when I'd catch a Jigglypuff and Jigglypuff had no personality whatsoever. And I'm just like, yo, what's going on? Like, come on, like, why aren't we drawing on people's face? Like, you sing, like, why aren't we drawing on their faces? Like, what's going down? Another favorite,
because they originally programmed it that it would draw penises on the faces in the games, and they were like, "You can't have the
yeah." They were just like,
shit.
"Yeah,
like,
we gotta keep it E-rated or whatever."
Yeah.
Blaziken, he is probably one of my favorite Final Form evolutions, and like he just looks like a badass. He has such cool moves. Blaze Kick, like come on, like I want to name a wrestling move Blaze Kick. Like that sounds badass as hell.
You absolutely should.
Like I just like Blaze Kick.
What's stopping you?
I don't know. I just like if I name it Blaze Kick, like you gotta go down. Are you staying down? Like that's it. Like that's gotta. It's like a super kick, except you stay down for it. Like you stay down. You're done. And then I think finally, Flygon. Always my favorite dragon type. I always try to make sure that if I'm able to, I can have Flygon on my team because I love Flygon. And I think the reason why I love Flygon is because the first evolution of Flygon is a Trapinch. And so you would never expect a cool Flygon, beautiful Pokemon to come from this little crab-looking motherfucker. Like, you're just like, what? You're just like, what? And like, I remember being a kid and being so stoked. I was like, yo, I keep seeing this Flygon. How do I catch it? What Pokemon? And they're like, you just catch a Trapinch, bro. And I'm like, no way. Trapinch sucks. I remember being in the desert. I killed like a mad of those. No, I would never catch one of those. They're like, bro, if you want a Flygon, you got to catch a Trapinch. And I was like, oh, whatever. I train it. It evolved into the next one. I forgot the name is, what is it, Estivia? Something like that. And I was like, wait a minute. That it looks like a little bug thing now. I mean, I don't know how a crab goes into a bug, but like, whatever.
Yeah, we don't ask questions.
And then it turned into Flygon.
It's all part of God Pokemon's plan.
First crab, then bug, then dragon.
Yeah.
It makes sense. But yeah, that's my top 5. I try my best to stay away from Pikachu because everybody fucks with Pikachu, and I will stay away from that. So maybe I think my list is better because
I'm a sellout.
That was one of mine. Was not just Pikachu.
Sure.
One of my top 5 was Fat Pikachu.
Oh yeah,
I want OG fat chubby
90s Pikachu who is not going to be body shamed into fucking leaning out.
Yeah, he was like sitting on the floor, Pikachu.
So Justin, you bring up an amazing point. One thing I do miss from the last gen game or the last sequel game is not the mega evolutions from Pokken Tournament because those sucked, but the sometimes these Pokemon just become fucking kaiju monsters. I do miss that a little bit. I thought that was always the best. When it'd be like. Yeah, when it was like, oh yeah, this battle's getting real intense. So now fucking Big Deborah Pikachu's gonna come into this shit and fuck someone up. I was like, I'm into this. I like this a lot. So I was a little sad that wasn't here.
Mega evolutions, freaking Gigantamax. I'm tired of all the gimmicks. Like that. That's what I'm exhausted of. I'm just tired of all these random gimmicks. Like I'm just like, and they don't do anything for battles because in all these tournaments they get banned anyways, and people are just like, "Oh, you're just Gigantamax. I'm not playing with you anymore. You suck," and they just disconnect, and you're just like, "Oh, well, okay, well that happened."
Glad we introduced this.
Yeah, like okay, now it's completely useless because now me and my friends are all banning this.
Yeah, I dig it. All right, good lists. There you go. Top 5 Pokemon. So Leroy, the next thing we do, and I'll give you some time. You can go last. The next thing we usually do is endorse. You can endorse literally anything. It can be yourself. It could be a movie, TV, music, another video game, just something you're feeling right now, something you've been doing, something you've been enjoying. I can go first. I will endorse I forgot his name. I just watched.
Wow, what an
Good start.
Yeah, a great endorsement.
God, Zach, help me out. Who hosts This Is Not Happening?
Fuck.
Yeah, hang on.
Wood Jr.
Roy Wood Jr. Thank you.
There it
is. I just
That's a
watched.
tag team effort, folks.
Hey, thank you. I just watched the latest stand-up special from Roy Wood Jr. It is on Netflix, probably.
What a confident endorsement.
Yeah.
Netflix, probably.
Netflix.
It's very good. It's I don't know, just sort of like post-pandemic stand-up. Just kind of talking about what's been going on post-pandemic. I don't know. It was a very good set, and Roy Wood Jr. is very funny. So that's my endorsement. Yeah, Roy Wood Jr. What else you guys got?
I can go if you want.
Yeah, sure.
So something I did was I explored. So you go to the eye doctor, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they examine your eyes, say, oh, you need this new prescription, and then they're like, all right, we're gonna send you to our sales team now, and you sit down and they want to sell you like $400 frames and lenses and get all this stupid shit. So I said, hey, I want my prescription, please, this time. And I got it, and I went online and I bought from this company, I buy direct.
Oh, there you go.
And I got 3 pairs of glasses for only a third of the price that my doctor's place wanted it for. I got 2 sunglasses that are prescription. I got these right here. So it's like, good. Yeah, screw buying glasses at stores. I'm just using that because you can just get them. They have like clearance on everything, and you can buy just regular glasses if you want for like $7, and they're perfectly fine. The quality is fine to me. It's like, so it's I buy direct is one of the websites I used. So I know.
Yeah, I was gonna say I've done Zenny Optical, same thing online.
Yeah.
The only issue I have is I've got a giant melon, so sometimes the glasses are a little small on my big ass head. But other than that, that's the shit. Like, it's really fantastic. And seeing as 3/4 of this podcast is visually impaired, I feel like that's a good impression, James. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for mocking us, our disability.
Yeah, thank you.
I'm an asshole. I'm a huge asshole. I don't know what to say.
Someone's gonna cancel for sure.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
How dare you?
But no, that's awesome, Justin. That's really fantastic. Plus, now that you know that they work and they're good quality and they're affordable, you can even like get a little flex on it, because I definitely have a couple pairs of glasses that I'm like, oh, this is for if I'm putting this particular shit together, I'm gonna have these glasses for that. So you can actually kind of
like
which I've never had the opportunity to do. Like
like the lenses I got on one of the sunglasses is green lenses. I was like, ooh, I better get green.
Ooh, yeah, that's sick.
So it's like you can change it up a little bit.
Hell yeah,
up the fit, my friend. Good job. I'm gonna self promote.
Hell yeah,
because that's what I do. So we're breaking new ground at my side gig of Brainbuster Video, and we've released a lot of weird titles.
Brainbuster. That was a Brainbuster.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I'm gonna rip that off and make that a sales thing. So the first VHS that we did that was like seasonal based was we released Krampus around December, which is a very interesting holiday themed horror film. And so for Valentine's Day, I wanted to kind of help out some of the people who maybe don't have a significant other for that holiday. So we're releasing our first porno tape. It's Evil Head, which is a porno parody of the horror classic The Evil Dead. And there's an alarming amount of people who are real jazzed about this title, and it makes me very uncomfortable.
I have so many questions, and I don't think I'm gonna get enough answers.
No! So that's going to be dropping on Friday, and I'm really excited about it. Falling into the weird VHS game has been like a really, really interesting adventure, and has been very personally fulfilling. And so now there's going to be some other things filled, and that's what that title's all about.
Okay.
So that'll be follow Brainbuster Video on social media.
You proud of that one?
Not at all. And gonna cry myself to sleep later. And so that title and many others is going to be available. So Brainbuster Video, that's my other side gig outside of Fully Gimmicked. And so that's that's my endorsement. It's me.
Where do people find your store?
On social media, you can just look up Brainbuster Video. It started Leroy will probably think, that doesn't sound like it makes sense. But it used to not make sense, because when you search Brainbuster Video, it was just dudes almost getting their necks broke in a ring. But now, because I've made enough sales, it actually comes up in the search. But
Hell yeah.
also
Nice.
on Etsy, you can just search Brainbuster Video on Etsy and the shops there.
But bonus
Nice.
endorsement, I just reminded myself of. If you find the idea of novelty porn parodies interesting, Zach, what was
Where is this going?
Zach, what was that? No, Zach, what was that YouTube channel? Wood Rocket? What was it?
Attaboy, try to put it off on me. Yeah.
No, come on. What was it?
There's a production company called Wood Rocket, and they have
Oh,
a
it
YouTube
is Wood
channel.
Rocket. Okay,
Yes.
fuck yeah.
Yeah, you perv, you remember it. And so Wood Rocket, they post all their safe for work trailers for their stuff, but they make their money on doing ridiculous parodies. And so I think the most recent one they just released was Sonic the Vagehog.
Oh,
And
very yeah, just like they're just like 2 to 3 minute safe for work just trailers of these parodies. Long time people who know me and long time watchers of this podcast know I love the stupid fucking movie called The Room. There is a porn parody of The Room called The Bedroom. And the trailer to The Bedroom is amazing. So yeah, Wood Rocket YouTube channel.
So and then clear your cookies afterwards. Anyway,
right, exactly.
Leroy, what do you have to endorse?
I feel like I do podcasts so much, and I'm always like, "Oh, yeah, I'm here." Follow me on Big Game Leroy on social media, and I'm just like, I'm tired, so I'm just gonna put over. I mean, I don't know. I guess like you can follow me on at Big Game Leroy, and Zach has got a lot of my merch and stuff like that at Philly Gimmicks. So if you want to support, go there. But I don't want to endorse me for once. I've been reading this manga called Chainsaw Man that is like literal. Like really, really good. And I'm not a big, like I don't keep up with manga fads too much for the most part. Like I usually but this one is really good. It's been really, really fun. It's such a simple take on a typical shonen journey where this protagonist, he hunts demons or whatever, which sounds pretty like, Demon Slayer is a thing, but like, it's really cool because he just wants to touch boobs. That's like his life goal. Like he's literally doing it to impress this girl, so she'll let him touch his boobs. Let him touch her boobs.
There you go.
Not the other way around.
The horniest endorsement round that this podcast has ever had.
This got real horny.
Experience it live.
Yeah. He's like 15, so of course it's very realistic. Because I'm like, if I was 15 years old, I wouldn't save the world to save the world. I'd save the world so I could
boobs.
Get some ass. Boobs. Yeah.
For boobs. So there you go. That's our thoughts on this new Pokemon game.
Yes. Very horny.
Play horny. Pokemon.
Very horny.
Fondle boobs.
Not at the same time.
34.
We're not. I don't endorse furries.
Why not? Why not at the same time?
There's a lot of multitasking I do, but not that. Not
one hand switch. One hand. All right.
James.
All right, this is getting filthy.
Show this to your mother.
Yeah, I know. I'm terrible. All right, big thank you to our special guest, Big Game Leroy. It was a pleasure having you on. We'll get you back next time.
This was fun.
It was great. Oh, it was fun for us too. We usually tell what our next episode. Our schedule has been really weird. We don't really know what our next episode with. Might be something board game related. It might just be Elden Ring. I don't know if we're gonna have an episode between now and Elden Ring. Who knows? I don't know. Anything else? All right. For the Good Games podcast, I'm James.
Justin.
Zach.
Big Game Leroy.
Hell yeah. All right, and we'll see you next time. Goodbye.
But yeah, no, this was really fantastic. Yeah. I had a lot of fun, guys, and
no, seriously,
it felt good to have some kind of input on a newer game and not just be like, "Hey, wasn't Crazy Taxi pretty good?" So I appreciate that.
I played at Barcade. Crazy Taxi's pretty lit still. I played at Barcade.
Hey, next episode, Crazy Taxi.
Oh, fuck yeah! There we go.
Yeah, something current. Finally. Finger on the pulse.
Yeah, fuck yeah. Oh, what is Offspring's greatest song? Fuck yeah. There we go.
Yeah.
I was waiting for it.
That's it.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
It's time to get crazy with Crazy Taxi. Yeah, that's the whole
Yeah.
show.
Yeah, totally not racist depictions. Not at all. Like that
No,
black
not at
guy.
all.
I picked that black character, and I feel represented in the most wholesome of ways.
Not insulting at all. Very, very respectful. But yeah, no.
Do that
So
for Black History Month. There you go.